Marches and struggles, violent acts continued against African Americans in the South. Several churches were firebombed in Montgomery. Martin spoke out. "We will not hate you, but we will not obey your evil laws." Courageous African Americans started to test the unfair laws of segregation. In 1960, small groups, often students, began sit-ins at lunch counters where only white people could be served. While the African Americans sat in their seats, they were pushed and often beaten by angry white people, but in time the sit-ins were so successful. By the end of the year, over 126,000 towns had integrated their lunch counters. The next year, a group of African Americans and white Americans called the Freedom Riders rode together on buses through the southern states. They wanted to put the new law banning segregation to a test. They got to Alabama. Violent gangs of Southerners, including members of the KKK, burned the buses and attacked the riders. The local police offered little protection, and many people were hurt. Finally, the federal government in Washington D.C. sent in 500 U.S. troops to put a stop to the violence. In April of 1963, Martin led the famous Birmingham March to stop segregation in the city. The marchers were met by full of police chief Paul Connor and his men. Attack dogs, swords, fed tools on marchers and even on children. The marchers were sprayed with high-pressure fire hoses. Many were seriously injured. More than 3,000 African Americans were arrested and jailed. President Kennedy sent U.S. troops to Birmingham to stop the violence. Finally, the city ended its segregation laws. The media coverage of the violence in Birmingham made more and more people aware of the unfair and harsh treatment of African Americans. It brought more support to the need for equal rights for all people. I have a dream. President Kennedy spoke out in support of civil rights. He said it was time for all citizens to have freedom. Much encouraged, Martin called for a march on Washington for August 28, 1963. African Americans and many white Americans, numbering over 250,000, walked from Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial. They were marching for freedom, rights, and dignity for all people. The cheering crowded hard. Martin gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. His dream was that one day all people of all colors would live together peacefully and be free at last from judgment or mistreatment because of skin color. Sadly, 3 months later, President Kennedy was assassinated. But the Civil Rights Act, which he supported, and which ended segregation in all public buildings, became law in 1964. The next struggle for African Americans was for voting rights. In the South, many African Americans had been prevented from registering to vote. Registering means the people had to prove they were entitled to vote. Registration was made difficult. It became nearly impossible for many African Americans to register to vote. In some places, the unfair poll tax was charged for voting. It was a tax many poor people could not afford. In Selma, Alabama, Martin led long lines of African Americans to the registration offices. He was arrested for his action and later released. Then the marchers started marching on the road from Selma to Montgomery. They went to present a complaint to the governor of Alabama, George C. Wallace. But he ordered the march stopped. The marchers continued and were stopped by state troopers who used unnecessary forces to stop the marchers. The day is remembered as Bloody Sunday later on August 6, 1965, with the support of President Johnson. The Voting Rights Act was passed in Washington, D.C. was a great victory for all people. One last march, Martin laid a call for the poor people's campaign. The goal was to get better homes, clothes, and jobs for African Americans. In the spring of 1968, he went to have out on a strike held by the garbage collectors in Memphis, Tennessee. While in Memphis, Martin was killed by assassin's bullet. He died on April 4th, 1968, at the age of 39. The whole world mourned the death of this great man of peace. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. is remembered for making real the dream of equality, and is remembered for being a fan of peace and a champion of rights and freedom for people of every kind. September 1st, Thursday. I went to school. And today we had PE class. It was very hot, so we were very. I felt very bad because we needed too much energy. It was very difficult for a minute. So we were very hot in classroom because the air conditioner didn't work well, and the heat came out of our bodies. So it was very hot. But and after school I went to men's academy. There's no air conditioner in men's academy, but I played soccer after in school with my friends a little bit. So I was about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but I was very hot. And I was very tired, so I wanted to sleep, but I had to study, so I couldn't study well in men's academy. And after men's academy, I went to the English academy. It's very long time to not go there. And it was very hot there too, but because I didn't turn the air conditioner on, so anyway, after English academy, I came back to home, and it was very late, so I just took a shower, and had dinner, and did my homework.